was very pleased the other week when at a car boot sale I found this is Zeiss Ikon. It's not the rarest one in the world. It's called Contina, and Zeiss had made several Contina models, and this was basically one of their last models in 1961, and it's a LK, which stands for light meter. But I once had one of these before and I was really impressed with it. I think the one I had before not only had a light meter, but it had a rangefinder built in as well. And although the camera at initial sight doesn't seem to be the highest quality, the one I had, I was really pleased with it. You open it from the bottom, it slides off, film in here, over there, slide it back on. This one has a nice little label in saying Sheffield Photo Company, Sheffield. So pop it back on there, hopefully lock it in. A tripod mount, rewind button. It has shutter speeds from 250th of a second to 30th on bulb. It has a f-stop of 2.8 to f22, and what I liked as well, you have a needle in the top of the viewfinder, so you move the aperture until you've got the needle in the middle. Now in 1961 that was quite a new feature and didn't happen in many cameras, so this was really sophisticated, so that's a really nice feature. Now there's another really good feature. Not only can you see the needle moving, but you can see your f-stop and your shutter speed. So you've got all the information in the viewfinder. And I think for 1961, that was a really nice thought and a really good idea. You've also got an easy way of rewinding the film when you, because a lot of cameras of that time, you had a funny sort of, you didn't have this crank system, and it's so much easier to rewind a film with a crank. You've got a shoe for a flash here, and you've got a connection on the lens there. Here's the bad news. I was really looking forward for using this camera, and I did use it, and it seemed to work. Now the odd thing is, the results which we are about to look at have a bit of an issue. And the issue is part of the image seems to be out of focus. Now, when I look in this lens, I can't see any fungus, but I suspect they could be. Now, I used another Zeiss in a previous video, and some of you will have noticed because some of you actually left comments on how odd some of the images were, and we put it down to the fact that we were pretty sure there was some fungus in the lens. And fungus is a very annoying thing in cameras. It often happens with cameras that have been stored in damp, warm conditions, and it's difficult to get rid of the fungus unless you take the lens apart. Sometimes you can get fungus in the lens and it has absolutely no effect on the image at all. Other times you get fungus in and it really causes an issue. And when you are selling lenses, you've got to be really careful with fungus. If you shine a light brightly on the lens, you can often see the fungus, but a lot of people just seem to miss the fungus. When I sell cameras, I always look carefully, but I have been known to miss it, and I will never argue about fungus because it is really annoying, but it is something that appears a lot in cameras. But let's see how these images are. You can see immediately the problem with this suspected fungus. It's almost like an infrared effect. As you can see on the pillars of the door, this sort of hyper glow, and it's more emphasized here. This was a real shame because I wanted to capture this small church at Steeple in Dorset. This church is quite unique in many senses. It has a really
fascinating history. It was on the estate of the Bond family, and before the Bond family, the Lawrence family. And the Lawrence family had a really interesting crest of stars and stripes. And one of the descendants from the Lawrence family was a certain George Washington. And nothing's been proved, but it is possible that he came up with the stars and stripes. You can just about see it above this doorway. There's about 2 or 3 examples of the Lawrence crest in the church with the stars and stripes on. But back to the camera testing. Not a very successful day. And as I said, I think it is because the lens actually has fungus. As I said, very hard to get rid of fungus, but always look out for it. Hope that's helped in a strange sort of way. Bye for now.